Hello and welcome to ABG Investor Day. My name is Victor Kruger. I'm an equity analyst here at ABG, and I'm pleased to present our next company today, which is Trianon, and their executive management with CEO Olof Andersson and CFO Marie-Louise Hedbys. Welcome.
Thank you, Victor. My name is Olof Andersson, and I'm CEO at Trianon, and with me here today I have my colleague
Marie-Louise Hedbys, and I'm the CFO and Deputy CEO of the company.
And we will take you through a brief introduction about Trianon, going through our performance during the second quarter, as well as the result for the first 6 months. You will get insights in Trianon's strategy, our financial targets, our sustainable work, and our visions for the future. Our business concept. Trianon, we are a local real estate company. We own, manage, develop and build properties in Malmo and the surrounding municipalities. And through innovation, commitment and long-term thinking, we aim to achieve a sustainable urban development. I acquired this company in 2006, and at that time, Trianon consisted only of a few properties. Back then, 2006, we had a property value on 200 million Swedish crowns. And today, we have a property value on 13 billion SEK. We have a rental value of 750 million and 154 properties in an area of almost 500,000 square meters. More than 5,000 apartments. And we are 90 employees, and since 2017 we are a listed company. Earlier on First North, and since 2020 we entered the mid-cap Stockholm main market. Malmo has been our base of operation for many years. Malmo is the fastest growing large city in Sweden. We have 350,000 residents, and we are a part of the Öresund region with 4.1 million inhabitants. We are a very young population. Almost 50% of the inhabitants are under 35 years old. And totally in the world, there lives 189 nationalities. In Malmo, we have 184 of them. So we are a young global city. And actually, we have over 120,000 people in the housing queue for an apartment in Malmo. We have also challenges. The unemployment rate is higher in Malmo, almost double than Sweden in total. The average income in Malmo are lower than Sweden in total, but the city is planning for be a city for 500,000 inhabitants in 2047. And that means only in apartments we're going to need about 80,000 new apartments in Malmo until 2047. So these are challenges as well as opportunities that we need to be aware of as a real estate company in Malmo. So we think we are at the right place and in the right segment. Despite the global insecurity, we increased our rental income with 13%, by 13% to 342 million for the first 6 months. We increased our net operating income with 10% to 208 million, and the profit from property management we increased by 5% to 125 million. And the profit from the period was 369 million. And That means an earning per share of 2.24 and a return on equity of 40%. So it was a very, very stable first 6 months for the company. Last year, Trianon's board of directors decided to update our financial targets for 2022 to 2024. We reached all of the financial targets except for the first one. They increased the profit from property management with 12%. The result was 5%, and that's because of the increasing energy costs during the first 6 months. And we have one new target that the project profit from our project portfolio shall be at least 100 million. And we reached 50 million during the first 6 months, and that's in line with our targets.
We have talked, or you have talked a little bit about the rental income and the net operating income. And as you mentioned, of course, for the first 6 months, as well as all the other companies in Sweden, we've had higher costs for energy and especially electricity, and that is affecting our net operating income. When it comes to the rental income, I would like to say that we had positive net letting for the first 6 months, so that was positive with 5 million, so we're increasing the rental income. But of course, when we're looking at the profit from property management, we're also affected by the higher interest rates. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. But we are increasing. We have a strong cash flow from operating activities, and that is 0.86 krona per share. And we increased the cash flow from operating activities with 30% compared to last year. When it comes to the balance sheet, we have a property value of 13 billion, and that's an increase from last year with 34%. And this is mostly due to we're investing a lot in our project portfolio. And we also, last year, in the end of the year, we made some acquisitions and also had a change in value. And the change in value that we have recorded this year is mostly due to the profits that we have in the project portfolio, and also due to net letting and to all the work that we're doing there. And we have a net asset value of 5.9 billion, and that's compared to SEK per share, 37.27 krona per share. And that is excluding the hybrid capital that we had booked as equity. And our loan-to-value ratio, 45.6, that's also in line with our targets. And the equity asset ratio of 39, a little bit above 39. If we're looking at the financial statement and the loan to maturity, we have a fixed term maturity of 2.3 years. Maybe it's a little bit an anomaly when we're talking about higher interest rates that we actually lowered the interest rate for the second quarter. It was 1.75%, but that was due to our hedging activities that were done during the spring. Accumulated for the first half year, we had an interest rate average of 1.83, but it's still lower than last year. And it's due to we acquired a company and took over some loans there that had a bit higher interest rates. So, but of course, I mean, we will also be affected by the higher interest rate and the market rates going forward. If we have a look at the current earnings capacity, we have been increasing our rental value. So it's like you said, Olof, 751 million now at the half year. And that's an increase of 16% if we compare it to the same period as last year. And this is also due to to acquisition and to the rental work that we're doing. So we had a net letting of 5.1 million for the first half year. And if we look at the current earnings per share, we have our most of our vacancies still in the Entrada property, and we are filling that now, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later. But when we have filled the Entrada and we have 0 vacancies, we will reach 2.22 per share. We showed in our last quarterly report at the half year what we called an alternative current earnings capacity. And we wanted to show the market how our interest rate would be in average with the hedging activities that we had been doing during the spring. And if we calculate our average interest rate according to the interest rate path that the Swedish central bank set in June 2022, if we're looking at the same outgoing debt that we have now at the half year, we would end up with the interest rate of 2.90% in 2024. And this is also not this earnings capacity is not adjusted for the rent increases that we have in 2023 and 2024. And with this calculation, we wanted to show that we can handle the central bank's rate increases, and we can still do good business and perform well. And we have historically as well had higher interest rates than some of our colleagues in the real estate market. So in 2018, for example, we had 2.80% in average interest rate. So this is a theoretical calculation.
Our joint ventures, we have 2 quite big joint ventures. One in Bolaget Center together with Valfast, and this is a center with 40,000 square meters, not fully let at the moment, but it's a big urban development project. It's in a place that we have a new station in 2024, and it will take 5 minutes to reach to Malmo and 7 minutes to reach to Lund. And here we have a possibility to develop new project. There is a potential to build about 1,500 new apartments. So we have very big potential to create a lot of value for Trianon in this project. In Rosengård, it's located in the central, nearly the central parts of Malmo, and has an area of 32,000 square meters. We own it together with Fastigheter. And here we also have a fully let center, and it's local retail and community service and some unique stores. And here we also have a possibility to develop new apartments, a new community service in the future. And you can see here our current earning capacity of our joint ventures. We have 154 million in rental value in these 2 centers, and in rental income on almost 126 million. And we have increased the rental income during the year with about 10 million, and we have increased the profit from property management with about 8 million. So there was also big potential with the vacancies, and to reduce the vacancies on 28 million during the coming years. Our segments, as you can see, we have our residential properties is 74% of our property value, and we have them booked at a yield on 3.6%. Our community service properties, we have 11% of the property value, and it's booked on 4.7%. And the commercial properties, is booked on 15% of our property value is booked on 4.7%. And the commercial properties are a lot of local retail and are quite successful retail. And the average yield on all of our properties is 3.9%. And here you can see our residential apartments. We have 5,000 apartments, and 12% of our apartments are new built with recent new build rents. We have built them with the government investment support. And 24% is renovated and 64% is not renovated. And one of our targets is that we shall renovate 200 apartments every year. And for the first 6 months, we renovated 64 apartments. The business model, we invest about 300,000 in a new renovated apartment. And we get a yield on cost for about 6.5%. And we get a value for the apartment after renovation for about 500,000. We get a lot of questions nowadays about how the new market situation with increasing inflation will affect the rent increase in our residential properties. The graph shows the historical rent increase in Malmo. There has been a 50% rent increase the last 23 years compared to the inflation, which has been 33%. On the last 10 years, we increased the rent increase with 16% compared to the inflation, which was 30%. We feel comfortable that we will, over time, will be compensated for the inflation. And every year we have a negotiation with the tenants' organizations, and we're going to start that now here in September so we have new rents from the 1st of January 2023.
We have also some community and service properties, and that consists of about 11% of our property value and a yield on 4.7%. And our largest tenants are the City of Malmo, Migrationsverket, the region in Skåne, in the region that we are. We also have some commercial properties, and those are approximately 15% of our property value. And we have combined now these two, retail and offices, as one segment since this year. And we also have a lot of tenants that are in local retail and grocery stores in this segment. So it's not only offices. And you can see here our largest tenants as well: Axfood, ICA Sverige, and some others.
Entrada, we acquired Entrada back in 2017. It was an unsuccessful shopping mall. The rental rate was only 48%. So we have from shopping mall to community service, local retail and entertainment. We have from 48% of the rental rate to 90%. So today we have a perfect mix of community service, local retail and entertainment. And I'm sure that we will end with 100% in rental rate within short. And we recently signed a long-term contract with Malmö's new X-ray clinic on Entrada. So we are going to have it fully let during 2023.
Our sustainable work, it's really important for us, and the keystones are we want to build more rental apartments with reasonable rent, and it's the same with our renovation model when we're renovating apartments in our areas. We're also working a lot with job creation and security measures and investments in attractiveness in our areas. We have a new target as well for this year that we're going to reduce the energy consumption over the period with 10%. And that's also something very important for us as a real estate owner to do in our properties. We're also working with Stiftelsen Momentum. It's a non-profit organization that is working with youngsters in our areas. And last year we had 5,700 children involved in activities such as book reading and sport activities and so on. A little bit about our project portfolio. We have been starting 700 apartments building, and we're actually having fixed prices in those projects. And we have the possibility to start another 600 apartments. And we can see that the building prices are starting to go down a little bit with the building material at the moment. And if it's a problem, we can also postpone the 600 apartments that we haven't started yet in 2023 to 2025.
We have 700 apartments under construction at the moment. 390 of them we have sold in a forward funding deal during the second quarter. We sold it for 822 million. It's about 50,000 SEK per square meter. And this deal will have a very positive impact on Trianon's targets to deliver 100 million per year investment profit from a perfect portfolio. So it's full speed ahead. Our strategy remains focused on our 4 cornerstones. We will reduce our vacancies in our properties. We will create long-term value in our existing and new properties. And we construct new rental apartments. Transactions are not the biggest focus at the moment. As we all know, there are a lot of change in the market at the moment with rising inflation, the concerns about the interest rates, and the actually increasing energy cost. This affects us as a company. But our strategy remains, and we continue to do our very best to deliver on our financial targets and our sustainable targets, and we also believe that we can do it. So thank you. Now I welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you both for the presentation. I'll try with a few here. Let's see how much time permits. I appreciate to hear that you are thinking that prices might come down a little bit. You mentioned that in your construction business. A good thing with rising prices is that you will have those inflation figures going into the negotiations with the tenants associations to possibly have those transferring into higher rents in 2023. Could you elaborate how you're thinking going into these discussions? Just a little bit more details into the prospects of raising these rents.
We have a new agreement between our organizations and the tenants' organizations. It's how we shall do this negotiation. We also have a new. The government will take a decision on a new law that which means that we have someone who can set the rents if we can't make an agreement.
Mm. And it's also some of the components that are going to be included are energy costs, interest rate costs, and also inflation. So this is positive for us that it's very clear what is going to be compensated for.
That's promising. As you allude to, some rulings, some decisions. We've just had an election. It's not clear yet who's winning, but one side is favoring government support for rental apartments, for new building, to build new rental apartments, and the other side is against it. Yeah, we don't have. I can't ask you too much about that now. But are you receiving any indications of one way or the other? Is it the same uncertainty for you now, since you don't know the outcome of the election yet, or is anything new there?
No, we don't know how about the election. That we don't know yet. But we think we can do good business in. We are in the right place and in the right segments.
Yeah.
We need new apartments. So with those building rights we have, I think we can earn money on it.
Yeah.
One way or another.
That's fair enough. There was just one recent ruling as well in the Court of Appeal in Sweden, which limits how much property owners may raise rents on new production. Do you think that will impact you?
No, it has no impact of us because we have built with the government investment support, and then we have another level of the rent. So I don't think we have a problem with that.
Very clear. Our time is up for today. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.